Tessa,
Yes.
what movie are we doing today?
This week we're bringing to you something hot and fresh, all the way from San Francisco, or wherever Netflix is headquartered. Today we're doing Always Be My Maybe.
Fuck yeah.
I fucking nailed it. I've been calling it something different every time I said it.
Yeah, I was texting you guys, love you maybe?
Yeah.
And then I was searching that in Netflix and I'm like, that's not
I definitely typed call me maybe a lot.
I was doing You Can Always Be My Maybe.
Yeah. What we do on this podcast is we talk about strong female leads.
Yes.
And basically these are the female lead characters that have agency, they're top billed, and they move the plot along. And that's what we're doing. We're doing a little bit different format now.
Yeah, changing it up, seeing how we like it, you know. 'Cause it's a free world.
Yeah, we get to do what we want.
Stop us.
So you want to get started?
Today we're doing Always Be My Maybe.
It's starring the incredibly hilarious Ali Wong.
Ali Wong.
Her
So
stand-up
amazing.
is so fucking good.
I love her.
Is it Baby Cobra?
Yeah.
And then Hard Knock Wife.
Hard Knock Wife.
Yeah.
God, those two blew me away. Those two comedy specials she did.
They're so funny.
That's my only knowledge of her.
Oh, yeah,
when
me
I
too.
saw those.
Yeah.
Me too.
But that's why I was so excited
her
about
for a
this
long
movie.
time. I'm like, oh my god.
She's
Well, I'm just
amazing.
like a big fan of like LA comedy, and I'm like, she's
Yeah.
always been kind of a fixture.
Oh, really?
Well, not always, but like for the past like 8 to 10 years,
Oh,
she's been like a
gosh.
pretty big fixture
Shit.
out there. I just think she's fantastic, and there's just, you know, I just love to see women of color doing comedy, especially doing her brand of comedy. It's just like so raunchy and like so
raunchy.
hilarious. I love
know
it.
it's kind of a shtick. I mean, like, I think it's hilarious, and a lot of the reason that her stuff was so funny in those Netflix specials is because she's pregnant and she's like dressed really nicely, and then she's just raunchy as shit. But I'm hoping, and I'm sure, I mean, she can't be pregnant for each one. I want to see what it's like when she's not. Because I don't think she needs it, but it did kind of add something to it, I thought. And so and obviously her titles have to do with that too, right? But I want to see what it is when she doesn't have a baby in her belly.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like in terms of raunchiness, even worse. I love this movie. I was so excited to see another Asian cast, not since Crazy Rich Asians. And I hope that this is a trend that continues.
All the leads.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, just saying that it's like, I like that it's doing so well, because it just shows that like you can have 2 Asian leads, you can have 2 black leads, 2 Indian leads, and the movie will be just as successful because the material is that good.
It was so good. And also I loved that this movie like they played up some of the stereotypes, which were very funny, like of her parents and stuff. But then they turned a bunch of them on their heads. Like the relationship between Marcus and his father was totally different than any other relationship I've seen on screen between an Asian man and his son, and also like his occupation or working with his dad, and then being middle class, and his dad not, I think we talked about this, not busting his balls, like forcing him to, or really pushing him to become a doctor or a lawyer, which is the stereotype. I mean, I love it. They turned a bunch of that shit on its head.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I think that was, from what I've like seen of Ali Wong, just in interviews and stuff, that's like more indicative of her relationship that she had with her father before he passed away. And that he was super supportive of her being a comic, which is kind of an outside-the-box career for anyone's child to do. Because I'm like, you're really taking your life in your hands, and, you know, kind of flying by the seat of your pants, trying to make this dream work. Like, you know, I would assume it's the same of anyone who's an actor or pursuing some sort of creative field, that it's a non-traditional career path. Or even, you know, even if you're going into like some sort of like quote-unquote normal business venture, but you're going out on your own, and you're pretty much betting on yourself and hoping that your family is supportive of that type of decision. And I'm like, I loved seeing that relationship. I hope that that's inspiring to people, kind of like, even if it's aspirational, like I could have that kind of relationship. I can go to my parents and just say
his dad was so accepting of him.
And I love those.
I loved him.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get into things. Let's just start.
Yeah.
We're already like, I already want to talk about like
I know
everything that's going on.
I know. There's so much. It's so good.
Yes. And shout out to Randall Park, who is just, I just love him. I love him so much.
Adorable.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited when I see him in anything. I think he's so funny.
He's adorable.
He's perfect. Everyone in this movie was perfect, including the love of my life, Keanu Reeves.
We'll get to Keanu. Sad Keanu.
Tricia always calls Keanu Sad Keanu.
I read an article calling him Sad Keanu. I will find it. We'll post it on Instagram. It's an incredible article about him and his life and how he and why he is Sad Keanu.
I I mean, he's had a very tragic go of things lately, but he'll get it together. Okay, so this is pretty much just let's set us up, and then we'll dive in a little farther. So Sasha Tran, who is played by Ali Wong, and Marcus Kim, played by Randall Park, are childhood friends who grow up next door to each other in San Francisco. As Sasha's Vietnamese immigrant parents regularly leave her alone while they attend to their store, Marcus's parents often have her over for dinner, and Marcus's Korean mother Judy teaches her to cook. So that's kind of the beginning of the movie when we meet Sasha.
Exposition.
Yeah.
She's a latchkey kid.
She's a latchkey kid.
Were you a latchkey kid?
No. Mm-mm.
I was. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, there'd be a babysitter that I'd go to after school sometimes, and other times I would just let myself inside. But I mean, my mom was a single parent. So a lot of the time, there was one time I couldn't get the keys out fast enough, and I had to pee so bad, I just pissed my pants on the porch. Tales of a latchkey kid.
I feel like we've all been there.
I mean, who hasn't peed their pants? Let's just all admit it.
It's just the worst part is when you're at home, you're like, no, just like 30 more seconds.
I'm right there. I'm old enough to be able to make it to the bathroom. I'm probably like 3rd or 4th grade. Maybe older, because that's pretty young to be latchkey. Maybe I was like 6th or 7th grade, and then I had to let it go. And then it just happened.
Sometimes.
I don't know if I've told that story ever.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great setup. I mean, that's pretty much how we get to know the characters.
Yeah. I loved it. We see Sasha's, like, her original interest in, like, preparing food, and she's, like, making something with Spam. And I was like, I've never had Spam, and it's really on my to-do list, is to try Spam. Have you tried it?
No. Have you, Hillary?
Nope.
It's a bucket list thing. I think it's along the lines of, like, well, no, Spam isn't, but I don't know.
So if you really want to get some Spam, go to Uncle Mike's place down the street.
It's
this guy who like lived in Vietnam and then came back and opened a restaurant. They use a lot of Spam and like Hawaiian cooking, and they had it in Vietnam.
What
obviously
because
it's canned ham, so it's like
I didn't even know what it was.
Like the army because it's canned.
Yeah.
But that guy does it.
It doesn't look bad, so
but you can get it from there.
But I'm just like, I don't have recipes.
They process the hell out of all the hot dogs and shit we eat anyways. It's not that much different.
Yeah. I think it's just the way it looks.
I mean, it's been around for forever, so how bad could it be?
My treat. I'll take it.
Wow. You heard it first in the podcast.
I love that. Let's have a Spam night. We were talking about having a ladies' night. We can incorporate Spam into it. I'll try it. I'd like that.
I'm into it.
In honor of Ali Wong and our military. Thank you for your service. So she develops a relationship with, back to the movie, Ali Wong's character develops a relationship with Marcus's mom and family.
His mom, Judy,
So
teaches
sweet.
Sasha how to cook like traditional Korean food.
Love that.
And they're cutting everything with the scissors. But yeah, and we see like kind of their like original playful back and forth banter between Marcus and Sasha, and you're like, they're adorable. That's so cute.
I know. I love that. Okay, so what do we think about Sasha's character? Well, she's a kid, so I guess we're not too deep into like.
Oh, we don't know that much
is.
about her. Yeah, we know that she's like kind of self-sufficient and like kind of. I assume kind of scrappy, and that she has to do what she has to do in order to feed herself and also entertain herself and not watch TV. And I was like, oh, how tragic to live in a house without TV. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, but she did watch it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, God, thank God. I was concerned. I was like, this movie isn't going the way that I thought it was going to go if she can't watch TV.
And if she followed the rules, like they said, don't put the TV on, I'm like,
so why do we have a TV if we're not going to watch it?
Yeah, you should watch that. You're not there. You're not there to entertain her. You clearly don't have her in any activities or anything. And then you're going to tell her she just has to sit there.
Yeah. That was like in my parents' house. They still live together. But like my parents had a TV in their room, and so like if we couldn't decide, we had like 3 TVs in our house, upstairs, downstairs, and my parents had their own. So if we couldn't decide on like what to watch together, like it would be like 2 people in one room.
Totally.
One person has her own TV.
Totally.
Which I think was almost always Taryn. And then like one of us would like brave it upstairs in our parents' room because like we were not supposed to be in there ever. Like if they weren't there, because it's like we're all like, I assume secrets were.
Yeah.
So I would be
Adult
like
secrets.
Yeah, so you'd have to remember like what channel. Like it was always Channel 7. My mom was always watching like ABC, always watching like or recording like soap operas and stuff. So it was always on 7. But we would like go up, and then like 20 minutes before she would come home, we would be like, "What channel was it on? You were supposed to remember." Like, to turn it back so we didn't get in trouble for being in her room. But then, like, we'd be dumb and we'd, like, leave our butt prints on the bed and, like, so she could totally tell that somebody was in there.
Some crumbs.
Yeah.
From eating on
we
her
were
bed.
not stealthy, but, you know, you had to watch that Disney Channel original.
I love the sneaking around watching TV.
So that doesn't happen in the movie, but we do see Sasha and Marcus's friendship, like, go through their teenage years. So I love that they were playing themselves as teens. And I freaking love that.
I love a 30-something, 40-something playing teen.
With just, like, ad braces and huge glasses.
And then, you know, they, Marcus's mom dies, which is incredibly tragic, and they kind of grow a little closer for a moment, and they bang it out in his car, and then they lose touch.
Yeah, and it like really
sad.
Changes him. He does seem like that's a turning point for that character.
Absolutely,
his mom dying and him like getting mad at his dad and like
and kind of
feeling like he has to take care of him, kind of like a role reversal. Like the dad's like, I can't find the coffee filter or something.
I know, and so then he stays back. I get that kind of, you know, the loyalty and all of that, but we also learn eventually that he's probably using it as an excuse also to not really have to, like, take chances in his life.
I loved, like, there was just so many universal themes about in this movie. I loved it.
I know. But I love the acceptance, like, so when he's an adult, he's living with his dad, and they're working for, what are they, HVAC?
Harry and Son.
And his dad knocks, he comes in, he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, smoking pot and dancing in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
And it's just the reaction of his dad, though, is so funny. Like, he doesn't get mad at him.
Yeah.
And then he just says, Marcus is like, why don't you dance with me? And then his dad starts dancing.
I loved that.
He was
so
my
fun.
favorite character, for
The
sure.
dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was really, really good. And he just carried himself in such a way, like, I wasn't shocked that he ended up with a younger woman later. Like, it wasn't, I mean, it was a little kind of funny because she was an impersonator, but, like, he was so nice, and the way he carried himself was so, like, calming and confident in who he was, kind of. I was just like, I get it. You're so attractive.
Yeah, he's a really good looking older man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also just kind of like that this is a depiction of like second and third generation immigrant stories, where it's like a little bit removed from like a traditional immigrant story. We don't see, as viewers of TV, second and third generation like immigrant stories. Like we get a Fresh Off the Boat, which is an amazing show and everyone should be watching because it stars Randall Park. But I do like that this is the second generation, because the dad doesn't have an accent. Nobody has like a... Well, actually, maybe Ali Wong's parents did.
It seemed like they did. So do you think his parents...
I assume they just
born.
I assume that they were like they were the first generation Americans, and that's kind of why they were like more understanding with like the son smoking weed and kind of being a little bit more like relaxed as opposed to Allie's parents who are a little bit quote unquote uptight or more traditional.
Really interesting. I didn't put that together. I assumed that they were first generation, but yeah, there was really nothing about them that seemed first generation.
I didn't notice until like halfway through the movie, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? What's happening? But I loved it. I loved that. Because I don't think of, like, when I interact with, like, my friends who are Asian, like, they don't have, like, sound exactly, like, if you could take the mic from me and it would, it's just something I don't really think about. But then you see, like, kind of the stereotype of people putting on, like, very aggressive accents.
Yeah.
That almost seems, like, mocking.
Yeah, and, like, a very detached relationship between the
very
parents.
cool. Like, even Allie's parents who, like, you know, are absent from the beginning, this first, like, act of the movie, because they're off, like, building their restaurant.
I think they just owned a general store. I don't think that they were, like, affluent.
But that makes sense, being first generation,
Yeah, they're, like, they're off building, so they're, like, absent, but it doesn't really seem like they don't have an interest in her. They're just literally busy running the store.
Yeah, I think it just...
Which reads differently as a child as opposed to, like, an adult. And I think that's something that she comes around to in the end.
She definitely holds a ton of resentment about it. And, yeah, I think that it's just that, like, roll your sleeves up, you know, making your way in the U.S. as an immigrant, and kids kind of have to raise themselves. I think it's not, you know, it's not fair to the kid, but I think it's more common than it is not. I mean, that's true for a lot of people who the type of job or work they have in order to get by takes a lot of hours, you know, and then the kids end up having to raise themselves. So 16 years go by.
Yes.
Sad.
Not really.
I guess it's sad that they don't keep in touch. That's
I mean, this is the puzzling part to me because the movie is called Always Be My Maybe, and I'm like, I don't feel like either of them kept each other in the friend zone. So this should have probably been called Almost the One Who Got Away Sometimes, maybe. Would have been a more accurate title, because I was like, I don't think about people from 16 years ago as maybes when you don't speak to them.
Actually, I loved the movie, but I didn't understand the title. I really
it could have been like funny running into you here, maybe.
Yeah. A San Francisco story. Like,
yeah.
A tale
when Sasha met Marcus. I mean, I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. This was when Ali Wong and Randall Park wrote it. It's just their version of When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember Harry Met Sally. I just remember the famous orgasm scene. I have to play that for you guys. It's really, really funny. But I don't remember.
Never seen it. No, it was before me.
Well, lots of movies are before me, but I still watch them. I just happen to not see that one. Anyways, yeah, so they don't see each other for 16 years, which is sad. But then they
reconnect.
Yeah.
But like Sasha is the celebrity chef living in New York, like
LA.
Really boss lady. Oh, she's in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought she was she's going to New York to open another restaurant later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just like a boss bitch doing her thing, and she's engaged to her manager, which seems
Daniel Day Kim.
Convenient.
Yeah. I was, oh God, I loved him in this role. I was like, super impressed. I don't think I've ever seen him do comedy, and I thought he did a really good job. Yeah.
He was good. And so they're together, and they then he somehow, I love a breakup that like is expressed in such a way that like we're not breaking up and almost like the other person helped come up with it. Like it just takes such skill.
You've accepted the breakup into their mind.
Like he tells her, yeah, well, I'm just going to go. Where's he going to go? He's going to go.
He went to India.
He went to India to do something, for a restaurant or kind of like something business.
He's eat, pray, loving.
He's eat, pray, loving, but he's like, and we'll just, be separate together. And then when she's describing it later to her friend, who's a great friend, what's her name? Veronica, like her childhood friend, I guess. Then she's like, yeah, and we're he's going to India and we're just dating other people. And then, so that we're ready to be with each other.
Know, when he's back, we'll really know that this is what we're supposed to do. I loved it.
Which, I'm all about.
But they got that out of there really quickly. So, there is no hurdle anymore. Because obviously, that this is like a rom-com.
Yes.
And eventually she needs to get back to Marcus and see if it's going to work. And it took 2 minutes for her obstacle, which was her fiance, to get out of the picture. And
totally.
Yeah.
They did it in a kind of a clean, emotionless way. But it was just funny. She was kind of selling it this is really, it's like a breakup, non-breakup. But it was definitely a breakup. She's in San Francisco. And they...
Yeah, and then, I'm so bad. I wanted to call him Randall so badly. Marcus shows up at the house, unbeknownst to Sasha, to fix the AC, and then they have the most awkward, amazing interaction, which I freaking loved.
Yeah, it was super fucking awkward. But something I liked, and it became very apparent at that time, something I liked about the development of her character is she's the one. I don't think success is defined by money, and we learn that's a little bit of a theme in this movie, but she's the high-powered one, and the male character isn't. And the decisions are being made based off of her job and her aspirations, and that was nice to see.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know,
and he didn't ever seem like lower than her at the same time.
Right.
He didn't ever seem embarrassed. Not that he should be, but he didn't seem embarrassed that he was in a band still and that he was working the AC job with his dad. And she never seemed to make him feel embarrassed about it. Yeah, I think she wanted him to push himself the music career,
Yeah.
But she was push
it was more
music career.
What are you practicing for if you're never going to play the show?
Yeah.
Why are you practicing?
Yeah.
You're good
if this
enough to
is
play
what
the
you want to do, do it.
Yeah.
But don't be embarrassed if this is
trigger.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
There was a class thing that was apparent, but no one seemed to make anyone feel bad or.
There was no power.
Really
I didn't see a power dynamic, which I liked.
Yeah.
He wasn't as supportive as I would have liked, at first with her stuff and the restaurant. He kind of had an attitude about it. But I think more of it, I didn't get the feeling that it was because she made more money and she was successful. I think it was because he didn't like who she acted like in that world.
He didn't like the LA version of the girl that he remembered.
He also didn't like the tiny food.
He hated the tiny food, which I get.
No one likes the tiny food at fucking fancy
so
restaurants
much money
that. Nobody does.
On tiny food.
That restaurant scene. Okay, so they go back, they reconnect, and he's going to tell her that he has feelings for her because his dad is so sweet and is talking him into doing it. And I love that conversation with them. It was so good, though. So then he's going to tell her how he feels, and she butts in and interrupts him and is like, I met someone. And so she brings him out for a double date with Marcus and his girlfriend.
Jenny. Oh, she stole the show for me. I was like, I don't know who this actress was.
Jenny's dreads were everything.
Loved her.
She
I was like,
so
yes. I was like, scene stealing. I was like, I loved Jenny.
I thought she was great too.
Yeah.
I loved her.
And like, she was kind of the manic pixie in this
yes.
in this scenario. And
Yes.
I was like, I just lived for
Manic
her.
pixie supporting Dream Girl.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, I'll call her a manic pixie light.
Yeah.
She had some sense about her, and she was her own person.
Well, because it took her all 2 seconds. Like, once we learned that Keanu is the person that Sasha is dating, I mean, Jenny was like, forget Marcus. I'm all in.
I can't say that I wouldn't do the exact same thing.
I wonder how he got into the movie, because it's like they clearly wanted like that long pause, like who's it going to be?
They wrote it for him.
I don't know who was running through my head, but it could have been anyone.
And he has Asian heritage, right?
Yeah, they wrote it specifically for him, and then they were like very, very surprised from everything I saw that he actually signed on to do it. Like, because he hasn't done comedies in like a long time.
Because he's sad, Keanu.
He's not sad. Okay, he's bad. Okay, he's a little sad.
But seriously, his part of the movie was so fucking good.
And those fucking glassless glasses.
And the food, them eating at that restaurant was
the
making
headphones
me
with the
laugh.
like you can hear your animal die. I'm like, oh, that's so gross.
It was making me laugh so hard, and it seemed like such a California thing that it's so like experimental and like meaningless and just.
But Marcus's reaction to it was the best. Like the three of them were like really into it, and he was just looking at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Just progressively getting madder and madder. I was like, yes.
It was just, just watching Keanu with the headphones on, eating, and then break down crying. I was dying.
Oh, man. I think my favorite scene is the one that comes next when they go back to Keanu's hotel.
So, yeah, I love that. So they kind of, at this point...
They're back at Keanu's. Playing their little drinking game.
Like Vice something. It was basically, it was very similar to Never Have I Ever.
Yeah.
What they were doing, yeah. I loved it.
And I just love when Keanu tries to fight him, and it was priceless. It was beautiful.
I know. It was just it was just a bunch of weird masculinity, but I loved it. I'd love to see that go down.
Yeah, it was a weird clash of masculinity.
Yeah.
With Keanu being most, like, very aggressive, but also slightly feminine.
Yeah. He's a little femme.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, punch me, and then he did, and then it looked like Keanu was going to choke him out, actually. So what happens with Sasha and Marcus?
Well, Marcus breaks up with his girlfriend because she decides to stay with Keanu in the hotel room to make sure he's okay. And I was like, girl, I would have done the same thing.
I mean, she said it was for her nonprofit, but love that too. Love that reasoning.
Any excuse to be that close to Keanu.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so beautiful. And so Keanu calls them an Uber pool, which is amazing.
Love that.
And they are fighting on the way back, and they're like, how could you do this to me? You've embarrassed me, blah, 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 blah.
Which then there's a fine line between love and hate. So fighting, and then they just start hooking up.
Making out, and then
they have sex that's way better than the sex that they had in the car.
Nobody believes that. But, then in high school. Mm-hmm. I thought you were talking about the sex that she had just had with Keanu. And I was like, the way she was talking about that, I mean, but it was probably like more emotional.
Yeah, it was their souls were fucking. That's what was happening. That's how you have sex with Keanu. Because when they first saw each other in the restaurant, she's like, I miss your hair. He's like, I miss your heart. She's like, I miss your fingers and your toes. He's like, I miss your soul. Like, he soul fucks.
Yeah. And then you can't tell me that Randall Park was better. You can't.
I don't think Randall soul fucks.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Not everybody can. And,
And not everyone wants to.
No. It happens to most men, so
yeah.
It's fine.
So they have sex, and they're into each other again, and they're dating.
Yeah, and then it's like, short little montage of like, we're together, yay.
I know. I I thought the band was good. And she was always very, very supportive of him. She never acted like she was above it. I mean, at first, when she first went into the bar with her friend Veronica, they were like, this is where Something Scary was filmed. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But, like, they're just being shitty. But, like, she didn't, it was just it was jest. It wasn't like, she loved it. She loved him. She always loved him.
Maybe.
She told him.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's where the maybe comes in. Well, because I was like, it seems like she was very okay with her life in LA.
I think, okay, she loved him from age whatever to 18. I think that's what she said or something. I don't know.
Yeah, during the drinking game, that all comes out.
Mm-hmm. So they end up breaking up.
They do. They end up breaking up. They have a huge fight at Sasha's house about how Randall Park Marcus doesn't want to go to New York. Sasha's opening a new restaurant. Yeah, he's like, my life is San Francisco, my dad is San Francisco, I'm San Francisco. Which is like so intense. It's a nice city, but like,
well, because he wasn't just living in San Francisco, he wasn't getting out of his neighborhood, like his block.
Yeah,
I mean, so like that was a very small life,
But I also think like because we're like viewing the movie so much from Sasha's point of view, we may have missed the parts like when Sasha like thinks so low of San Francisco because her experience of the city and of her life there is so colored by her experience with her parents. She forgets like how nice some things were, and like when they're strolling through memory lane and going to that like restaurant they went to when they were kids, and like she
said she hated the food, but it was really good.
Yeah. So the couple is split up. We are devastated. We are distraught. Marcus is in San Francisco. Trying to get his band together. He's trying to get his life together to make it right for Sasha. They break up in a very dramatic fashion after their fight at Sasha's house. Mm-hmm. Sasha's off in New York getting her new restaurant ready.
But still supporting Marcus because she's awesome AF. She is buying all his merch. So he thinks merch sales really skyrocketed.
Which is kind of horrible.
It's sort of patronizing, but it's also like, it's patronizing if she were telling him, but he found out. Like, I don't know. I think it's sweet because he found out.
Even. No matter what. It'd be different if she was like encouraging like friends or like industry people that she knows to buy it. But she's still...
Yeah, maybe it comes across as less patronizing because she's the woman doing it. I hate to say that, because if it were the guy doing that, I'd be like, oh, what an asshole.
It's still... Yeah, it kind of seems like... And I'm going to let it go. But it seems like she's, like, buying his motivation for him. Like,
well, he liked it.
He's yeah. But that's still, like... So, like, how deflating when it should have been for him to find out that, like, no, people don't, like, fuck with his music. Yeah. She does. So you think that, like, oh my god, I'm getting it together, I've got this new place, and, I'm growing up, and, like, striving out on my own, and all this stuff, and then it's be like if your parents...
Yeah, you're right, it actually is kind of sucky. I would have been disappointed.
Yeah. Only because it's, like, an artistic pursuit. Like, if he was, like, a secret owner of her restaurant, like, say this was reversed, and she was just like, oh, I'm just, like, $20,000 short for, to get the space to open my restaurant, and he, like, under a different name, like... gave her the money, and then she found out. I feel like we would view the situation a little differently.
All right, well, Tessa brought us down a little bit, but really what happens is they're back together.
Yeah, I mean, and I get that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, we all knew that a moment was coming where he was going to profess his love in public, because even if this movie, like, breaks all sorts of barriers and stuff, there's one thing true of rom-coms. There's always a public announcement of, like, the love, whether it's, like, on the street for other people to hear or in front of people's families. It's like, I need you, I want you, blah, 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 blah. They're together.
Yeah, take me back. One of us is an idiot.
Yeah.
For not realizing what we had.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did really like his speech to her.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. And she had some really great one-liners in this movie that I just didn't write down, but there were some really funny fucking lines, and her delivery reminded me of her comedy. Yeah. When she does that, like, staccato, like, sort of, like, gripe thing, like, where she just gets real sharp, like, no. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's the Ali Wong that I know. Yeah.
And I really, really, really liked that. Like, a lot of, like, stand-ups, when they get their, their first thing, they really just adapt their stand-up special. And I was like, thank you for not just adapting your stand-up special. I find that so annoying. But you already know that material. Like,
that being said, though, isn't that what kind of disappointed you a little, Hillary? That she wasn't as vulgar?
Yeah. I mean, I did like this movie.
I think it could have been
dirtier. I wasn't, like, I wasn't like laughing out loud a lot though during this movie. I liked all the characters, and I thought the acting was good. But I mean, yeah, I was like peeing my pants, kind of like Tricia does sometimes. When I watched her stand-ups, and I wasn't doing it during this.
Her stand-up makes me like wail.
Juxtapose this against like Trainwreck, where Amy Schumer is essentially Amy Schumer, and that's why it seems like even funnier, because like we know Amy Schumer as the stand-up, and she's pretty much like reenacting in a live fashion her stand-up, and I'm like, I really appreciated that Ellie didn't do that and showed like even more range as both a writer and an actress.
It was more
not to play a character,
and maybe it was smart for the long run. Like, it is kind of risky for her to do that instead of just do what she knows will sell
get laughs. Yeah,
you know, so she can always do that. She can always be in a super vulgar role, and she'll like play it to a T. But kind of, yeah. I mean, hats off to her, man. Are you guys going to her live show in Chicago?
No,
I think I want to.
I'm not opposed to going.
We'll take tickets, Allie, if you're listening to this. I assume you are.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Ali Wong is a true SFL. This movie kicked ass. Did she wrote it? Did she direct it?
No.
Her and Randall wrote it, and then the director is a Persian American.
Nacha Khan.
Nice. It was awesome.
Yeah, directorial debut for her, I want to say. It was her first film, and I was like, that's phenomenal.
Well, she's done a couple episodes of Fresh Off the Boat.
Okay.
But only like 2. And she's produced more. Yeah, so she does not have a lot under her belt for directing. Yeah. This is her first film.
And it's also a female director.
Yeah, so it was like a first for a lot of them.
I love when females start to make it and then they like throw down the ladder for someone else. Yeah. Kinda, you know, because you have to do that. We shouldn't. Everyone competes with each other, but at the end of the day, like, you want good people around you. When I was in law school, I was never smarter than I was when I was in law school because of all the reading you're doing, but I never felt dumber because you're around people who are, like, I was not that great at law school, and I felt like everyone was so smart. And I guess what I'm saying is I like being the dumbest person in the room. Like, I know people who would rather be the smartest. I actually don't.
Like in stand-up, like I always want to be surrounding myself with people who I think are like one rung ahead of me.
Yeah.
And looking forward to also like throwing the ladder down and like making myself available.
And women doing it for other women is fucking awesome. They did that in Late Night. Mindy Kaling does that. Amy Poehler. It's just fucking sweet. But okay, so Ali Wong. I'm so glad. I mean, I was hoping we'd be able to do her in some way, but she wasn't in a movie. And we're only doing movies and TV now, but I think she's fucking great. What was your favorite SFL moment for her?
Ooh.
Kind of hard. Because she doesn't really have, like, a crazy realization or
I'd say mine is that she wrote the movie.
Yeah, I think the last scene when she, like, reveals that the restaurant's name is Judy after his mom, kind of showing that, like, you know, even though, like, her growth isn't as big as his throughout the trajectory of the story.
Yeah. He was definitely the one who, according to the story, had more growing to do. Yeah. Like, he had to kind of meet her at her level.
But she completed, like, her, like, growth cycle in, like, you know, paying homage to San Francisco and his mother and her cultural heritage in creating Judy. Which is what her journey was like, remember who you were, because the past wasn't all that bad. What about you? What was your favorite moment?
I really liked when she ended up going to New York, what she said to him. You know, they get into the fight inside, and then he runs to the window. He says something to her that makes her mad. She leaves, and he runs to the window, and she just says, you know, I love you. I've loved you for this amount of time. I don't expect you to, you know, love my life or, you know, that kind of thing, but I need you to accept that this is my life now. You know, and I just thought that was like, I just thought that was a very cool moment. And I like that. And I like that she, I don't know, part of me saw her maybe staying in San Francisco, but I liked that she didn't, because a lot of movies and just real life experiences, it's kind of the woman following the man. And the man followed the woman this time around. And I thought that was good SFL for the movie. Good, SFLing.
What do we want to rate this one?
What cans of Spam?
Cans of Spam.
Tennis balls.
Tennis balls.
I say 3 3/4 to 4 out of 5.
I'm going to agree with 3 3/4.
For what it was, you know,
Yeah.
it was a rom-com, so there's
Yeah.
certain expectations.
I'm very excited for whatever, like, I don't know if they're going to continue to be a writing duo, but whatever they put out next. For me, this movie was just a little simple.
It was. Very predictable.
Yeah,
too.
and I also know that they were under a time constraint to get this done, so I was like, maybe that is also playing into why it felt like we outlined this for as show notes, but it felt like so beat by beat, like you could tell exactly what was going to happen. Everything was very telegraphed.
There weren't any twists. Like, even though it was different that
Yeah.
he followed her, you knew watching it that he was going to follow her.
Yeah.
You know, it just, everything was set up. You could basically just write the movie
Mhm.
with them while watching it.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I agree with Hillary. Like, I thought it was funny, but I didn't have too many uproarious laughters. But I think that's also how I feel about most rom-coms. I don't throw my head back and cackle for most rom-coms.
But I did laugh out loud with Keanu.
Yeah, I think I said something. I was maybe 3/4 into a bottle of wine while I was watching this.
Nice.
And I was like, Keanu!
Zach was sleeping, and I was watching it on the iPad in bed, because I'm in bed at 10:30 on a Friday night, and I had headphones on, and I made some sort of noise, I'm sure, like it was when he was eating, man. When he was eating with his headphones on. Fuck yeah. So you give it 3.5 out of 5 spams?
I'm going to give it 3.75 out of 5 cans of Spam, yeah.
Love that. Wow, same rating.
Yeah. I really like this, but I'm excited for whatever they do next. I think
it could be more complex and stuff like that, but it was a great watch.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was light. She's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Another one in the can.
Let us know what you. Another one bites the dust.
No, it's a movie term. Like when the
Oh.
movie's done.
Oh, it is.
It's in the can. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking it's like a can of Spam.
I liked that too.
I was
It wasn't a bad thing.
No, what I was. Oh God.
Because that's what you call like a film reel.
Yeah,
Like
it's in a can, like a tin.
Oh. Well, yeah. Another one's in the can. Guys, let us know what you think of this movie. Follow us on Instagram at Strong Female Pod, and Twitter, show us some love at SFL_Chicago.
Yes, and please, please, please remember to rate, subscribe, and review us on Apple Podcasts.
It will help us.
Yes, it helps us so much to keep us up in the ratings. Give us another new and noteworthy is always appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Although we're not really sure what that does or means, but it's helpful.
But I like winning.
We like seeing it.
I like seeing it.
Love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.